Subscribe squad. It's another day, it's another dollar, and it's time for another freaking album review slash reaction. Now today we're going to be doing our first full length album review on the channel, and it happens to be to none other than Lil Wayne. He dropped a new album called Funeral, and we're gonna just dive right into it. So, if you're a Wheezy F Baby fan, then my guess is that you're going to be completely satisfied by this album. Now, if you're just a fan of hip hop per se, or just good music per se, then you might have mixed reviews. But overall, let me give you my takeaways from the album, my quick takeaways. I would start off by saying this. I mean, like I said, Wheezy fans are for sure satisfied by this particular album. You wanted bars, you got bars. You wanted Lil Wayne to go off on certain records, he went off on certain records. Ultimately, if you're a Lil Wayne head, then bro, you're probably super duper happy. Now, if I had to rank this according to the rest of his albums that he put out, I would say that this album is nowhere near the best out of all his albums, and it's not necessarily the worst. It's just not up there with like the Carter 2, 3, and like, the classic hits. And here's why I would say that. I would say that because after hearing all of the songs, and mind you, there is how many songs on it? 24 songs. I left 24 songs, and I didn't hear anything to be like, whoa, that changed the game. Like, whoa, rap is never ever gonna be the same. With some of his previous albums, it had that impact of where rap literally was not the same after those albums dropped. And me personally, I didn't feel like that was a takeaway from this particular album. Now, is his legacy secured? 100%. His legacy and his imprint and his footprint on hip hop and hip hop society is secured. That's not going anywhere. Did this ruin it? No. Did this give him a notch down? Absolutely not. If anything, I felt like this added something to his legacy. And I'll tell you why. Like, ultimately, and another one of my takeaways from this particular album was that he showed that he could keep up with the times, but still stick to his roots. And what I mean that is just like the cadence of new rap. If you look at like the Baby or Little Baby or even like Migos, it's a different type of cadence. It's more of a melodic rap than like I always say. Most rappers these days rap to melody and not rap to rhyme. And so the ones that could do both, as you could see by like Kendrick or a J. Cole now rapping in melody, they're taking those same cadences and melodies that the mumble, quote unquote, mumble rappers, and I use parentheses, are using, but they're still having rhymes in it and still having something to say. And I feel like, if anything I got from this album, Lil Wayne had that in lots of parts of this album. And I'll do song breakdowns in a second. What else did I put? I said, another takeaway I got from this album was that it's kind of sad that it seems like he's still struggling with substance abuse. And I think that somebody, is so talented. I don't want to lose somebody else. We already lost some of our greatest artists. And just overall, just people who've impacted the world recently, even though it wasn't substance abuse. And so I don't want to lose another person. And so I really hope that he gets help with that. And in an era where I feel like now people are starting to be more conscious of how they impact people as far as substance abuse, whether it's popping pills, codeine, heroin, you name it. I feel like I wish he would have took a little bit more responsibility in that matter. And maybe he's at the point where he can't. So, you know what I'm saying? But I wish he would have approached the drug topics in the album in a sense of like, I really wish I could get off this, but I can't. I'm struggling, so I don't want you to do it. I feel like in parts of the album, he was still, now I wouldn't say glorifying drugs, but it was still more of a fun thing to do. And I get it, he's a rock star, he's a legend, so we have to understand that these people live a different type of lifestyle than us. And certain things are acceptable in these circles. And mind you, I've been to these parties, I've been to these circles, so I understand that. But at the same time, at this age, Lil Wayne's age now, where he is in his career, I feel like it is his duty to embark on trying to show the younger generation that that is not the route that you necessarily want to take. And I wish that was in there. I would say that my biggest critique with Lil Wayne, right? And mind you, he's a legend, rap bar for bar. If somebody wanted to put him in their top 5, they could argue that. If somebody wanted to put him as their top 1, they could argue that all day long. But my biggest critique with Lil Wayne is sometimes these songs that he makes are just are not concise ideas. And there were songs on this project that were concise ideas through and through, meaning that he'll maybe have a hook and the bars don't necessarily, they're dope bars, but they don't necessarily match the theme of what the concept is. And so like him having full concept songs, I feel like some of his biggest hits had full concepts through and through, that you could follow the bars and they were in relation to the hook, and they had an overall story that he was telling. Those are some of his best songs. And I feel like this particular project, to me, had more of like a mixtape vibe than necessarily like that. And I guess, I don't know, I kind of wanted that. And that could just be a personal preference. But like I said, if you wanted dope bars and you were satisfied, if you wanted, catchy sayings and things that popped out throughout the project, then you were satisfied. So I'm going to start by saying names of some of my favorite songs. One of the ones that stuck out to me was the song he did with Adam Levine, Trust Nobody. I thought that was dope. It's something that could be played on radio right now. I'm just talking about, for me, it was dope just because it was like, you hear a hit. When you hear a hit, that was a hit. And it had that same thing of like having a concise message throughout the entire song. He stayed on topic, per se, whatever you want to call on topic. Song with 2 Chainz was super dope. 2 Chainz came in hella hard, like hella hard. I'll do breakdowns in a second. I like the concept of Harden. That was cool. I feel like this was another one of the albums that got better as it went along. The intro was cool. It had this cinematic vibe to it. What else was another one of my standout songs? I have it written down. All right, so the T.O. song, that was dope too, with OT Genesis. I thought that was a perfect feature. Now, all right, so from start to finish, I like the intro. I thought it was, just classic Wayne to start the whole project off with the smoke lighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think of Wayne, you think of him lighting that blunt and he finna go in. So that like popped out to me. The message that stuck out to me is gotta die to see who you know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that was so reflective of where he's at now in his life. Like, he feels like he don't really know people. He's seen so many people turn on him, or people that he thought was his friends, and now they're not. And so I thought that was just very deep. The 808s in that beat was crazy. It was just knocking the whole entire time. It was straight bars, and I like that he introduced the fact that, hey, at the very end, he was like, look, okay, I'm going to give you that Lil Wayne, this project, but we're gonna have some of these new school melodic flows. And that was towards the end. And overall, it was just catchy. Moving on, Mahogany. I thought that was just a song, but it was simple, but it was crazy, bro. Like, it was for sure crazy. Coco on the Dash, Flatline, that bar, that stuck out to me. Mind you, there's so many bars. So I'm just talking about certain things that just stuck with me. The chopped and screw part about that was just cold. It gave me, like, reminiscent of, like, early 2000s. It just took me there for a second. And I was like, okay, cool. Mamma Mia. I thought it was the wizard like Hogwarts line, like that stuck out to me. Don't touch me like an air ball, bro. Like bars, like just bars. Like that was something that was crazy for, and it was consistent. That was something I thought like it was consistent in the sense of this was what the song was supposed to be. It was just supposed to be dope bars. Money look Arabic. Like when he went into that flow, that money look Arabic. Like that was cold. And then at the end, straight hip hop right there for all the hip hop lovers. Acapella flow at the end was fire. I do it. Of course, if you're gonna say I do it, then you need to have Big Sean on. It was just great to hear from Big Sean. I'm glad that we're gonna get some new Big Sean music. He's so underrated, and I don't know that he's underrated, but amongst hip hop fans, he isn't. I'm just saying amongst mainstream, I feel like Big Sean is highly underrated. And so it was good to hear this song. I thought it was an interesting collaborations. One thing that makes Lil Wayne dope is he has this willingness to cross generations, like, and this willingness to not be afraid to collaborate with people. Even back before like his classic albums, he was collaborating with people. He's introducing us to new people, and of course we know Big Sean, but oh, that was good. That was good. Dreams. I thought this was one of the coolest songs on it because his hook on it was super duper catchy. And he came in with this like that melodic mumble rap flow, but he showed so much depth in the sense of it had like this rock and roll vibe. And I love that about Lil Wayne. He's not afraid to blend genres, like, at all. He will really take it there and be like, you know what, all right, this is who you think I am, all right, well, bump that, we finna do this next. And it had that real rock and roll just vibe to it. And not only that, but Dreams was something I felt like had like a universal message, an overall consensus message. Stop Playing With Me was cool. It had like chill vibes to it. Was it the most memorable to me? Not really for me. Platform was dope. That was dope. I think it was very cool for him to introduce that New Orleans bounce type vibes, and he just went off bar for bar on that. Is it, how did I spelled that one wrong. What is it called? I'm not into the whole jump cut thing. You guys are just getting everything. Bing James featuring J-Rock. That one was interesting to me because I feel like there was a juxtaposition between Lil Wayne's flow and J-Rock's flow, and I thought that was dope. I feel like if you gonna hop on a Lil Wayne track, you need to hop on a Lil Wayne track and leave your imprint and kill it. And you gotta try to out rap Lil Wayne. And from that particular song, I feel like J-Rock stood out a little bit more to me on that track than Lil Wayne did. And so I feel like he had a harder touch to it, which was cool because the juxtaposition of Lil Wayne coming in kind of soft and like it mashed up. Not Me. One of the bars is talking mixed soda and codeine. That's a mixtape. Like, just, and this is what I say. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I wish he would have talked about how maybe he doesn't have maybe he doesn't feel like he shouldn't have did it or whatever when it comes to substance abuse. I'm not sure. I can't read his intentions. But I like that song in general because he was just talking about how he's the reigning king, and y'all young bucks ain't finna come in here and take my spot. Like, it's not happening. I am Lil Wayne. Like, who you think is going? Like, no, not me. Like, no, not me. You're not coming for me. And I just thought, like, as a rapper, that was a rapper song. If that makes any sense, that was something as a rapper I could appreciate because we always like to be king or queen of whatever it is that we're doing, and the top of the mountain and the top of the hill. I already talked about Trust Nobody. That was just a dope hook with Adam Levine. It was a pop hit. And I like the fact that it just talked about the evolution of being a star and how people would just, I feel like we it's hard for sometimes us to relate because we're not used to going through this on a day-to-day basis, but it was still a relatable song about just, lacking trust for people that are around you. What are people's intentions? I told you about Know You Know, featuring 2 Chainz. It was just dope concept. I thought it was a very rock star song in the sense of like passing females around. I'm using the nicer word of this female gonna be with this female, and they all really be sleeping with the same people. Like, the industry is really like high school. It's really small. Like, once you're in, such and such. They just be bouncing around. I never really understood that. At least me, I don't know. I like non-celebrities to date. That's just me. I feel like it's too small, and I like a balance. I don't want somebody who's constantly just like me. Like, I want to have some type of a juxtaposition. All right, so Wild Dog was next, and I just feel like it's just classic Wayne, but with a little bit of a young flow, like, and that was dope. That one went hard. Harden, I thought the beat was like a Jay-Z type of a sample beat. That was cool. The concept of love me or leave me, though, like, it's like he knew who he was. He knew that he knows who he is in relationships. He knows what it is he has to work with. He's telling you ahead of time, like, love me or leave me. Like, the block my number. I feel like James, you know what I'm saying? James Harden, you drop my jumper. Like, that whole concept to me was just like, it just stuck out because it was just like, dang, he really likes his female. and or he was trying to shoot a shot, you blocked his number. It's like you feel like James Harden, because when James Harden gets his shot blocked, it's the biggest deal. Because I'm a James Harden fan too, by the way, so that's why it really stuck out to me. I don't sleep. That was just the epitome of his lifestyle and him as a rock star. And it had that motivational aspect too. It's like I'm getting stuff done, but also like, just like, just this is the lifestyle of females and blah blah blah, etc. Takeoff, I thought this was a dope touch from Takeoff. It had the Migos vibe to it, because it had the ad libs da 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 in the background, da 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 da. Like that was super duper cool to me. Takeoff, it just came in. It was so fluid. It was definitely one of my favorites on the project. Sights and Silencers, The Dream, Michael made it. The Dream is one of those voices that you either really like it or you don't. And I feel like, and this is off topic, on topic, we always be like, it's like usually people either love The Dream or they love The Weeknd. It's usually not like an in between. It was a cool Michael made it beat. It had like this very LSD trippy type of vibe to it. And I'll be honest, on all the songs on the project, I felt like it was a good song, but was it necessarily needed on the song? No, I don't know that it was necessarily needed. Ball Hard featuring Lil Twist. It was just cool to hear Lil Twist on the project. Cool to hear him making music again. And I think this was a song that, it was another song that, did we need it on the project? No, but Lil Wayne's always just showing love, and I think that was one of the situations where he was just showing love to Lil Twist. Not to say that Lil Twist didn't hold his own, because he definitely did hold his own on the song. But like, do we need all of these songs to get the same? Some of these songs had similar vibes to it, right? So the next song was the Bastard song. Trust, my mama said, trust nobody who can bleed for 5 days and live. Bruh, like, first of all, as a female, that is so offensive, but it was such a dope bar. Like, and I thought there was just this interesting concept of, it was definitely storytelling in this song. Storytelling element of like, this is my mama told me. These are the lessons my mom was telling me about being young, and then my father, because to know him and know his background about his father, and he was just too young to take care, and then to find out that Lil Wayne was going to be a father in itself. It's just like the whole analysis on like mentality. The next one was Get Out of My Head. Posthumous feature from XX Tentacion, and I thought that was dope. That was another standout song on the project to me. And it had this dope rock emo vibe. Like that one, if he performs that song, that's definitely going up. Like it is for sure going up at the concert. And it's going to be hype, mosh pits, all that. And that song did not disappoint. That was one of my favorites. Piano Trap was very cool, because I thought that this was another example of him being like, look, I could do what you guys do on a trap song, but I'm finna switch this beat up. I'm finna kill you with these bars, and I'm going to give you some old Lil Wayne. And that was just a dope switch in the middle of that song. You just switch. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. Okay, all right. Hit him with the bars. Then Lil Wayne, hit him with the bars. One of my favorite bars was that. It was like, been through the BS, but I still smell nice. That just made me chuckle. I was like, this is only Lil Wayne. Line 'em Up. He comes in with the song on Line 'em Up. Had a Benz when you had a bike. Like, little boy, little girl, go someplace, sit down. I've been killing this. Go someplace and sit down. This is Lil Wayne right here. This is Weezy F Baby right here. Weezy F Baby. You heard me? From the NOLA, you heard me? Like, he just came in boss on that song. Dark Side. I think this was another song that for me gave me like mixtape vibes, but it showed versatility in the sense of like, okay, we know you could do every single thing, and it gave that kind of like that darker, I know, Dark Side. It did give a darker sound to it, and I like the song, but was it necessarily needed on the project? I don't think so. Nevermind was definitely type of end of the album type song. It had these lighthearted vibes, and it was kind of like his version of a love song, like it talking about his love, and maybe he was speaking about his fiance. And then, like I said, T.O. went crazy. That was one of my favorites with OT Genesis. Like, he gave us that flow. That thing was cold. Like that's for sure something that knocked in the car. That was a car knocker. It was a headbanger. It was a guys type of song. And then last but not least, Wayne's World. It was that classic Lil Wayne, and it just went hard, and it was concise and thorough. And so, like I said, my overall take of this album, out of 24 songs, I don't think that he needed 24 songs to do what he did on this particular project, right? I feel like he could have did this same project and cut it down to probably like 15. And I'm sure he probably had hundreds and hundreds of songs, so that's why he had this. Not only that, but a lot of people don't know there's a lot of math and science as to why these albums are getting longer. It has to do with the Spotify algorithm, so they tend to be longer albums because you get more streams per album when you have longer albums. But anyway, Lil Wayne is forever going to be a legend. He will always be a legend, and I mean, that's not going to change at all. And like I said, is my favorite Lil Wayne album? No. Is it my least favorite Lil Wayne album? No. It's just, it was good to hear from Lil Wayne. It's good to see that he's still killing it. And like I said, my prayers and wishes and hopes for him is that he gets help in that area, so that way he could be here longer, and we could see him, continue to pass down things to the next generation. All right, so I need to know which album review you want me to do next. I keep getting requests for Eminem. I'm going to do Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By album review, and like the breakdown just like this. But what else should we do on the channel? Let me know if you like these album reviews. What should I add to these album reviews? Maybe I should edit them different. I don't know. It's my first time doing it on the channel, so just, comment below. Let me know what it is you think. Be sure to hit the like button, sub button, bell button, because you can ring my bell. Ring my bell, ring it, ring it, ring it. Thank you guys. See you next time.